Hi, in this video we'll discuss very important topic of GCSE, which is recurring decimals to fractions. So we do have some exam questions. The first question is we have to take away these two recurring decimal numbers. So the first number is 0.816 is repeating infinitely many times, right? So the second number is 0.324 is repeating infinitely many times, and we have to take away the numbers. So we know that 6 is repeating infinitely many times and the 4 is repeating infinitely many times. So if you take away the 6 from 4, so you're left with 2 2 2 and 2, so on. And from here you can't take away 2 from 1, so you need to take 1 borrow from 8, so you're left with 7 here and the 1 here. So 11 take away 2 is 9, and 7 take away 3 is 4 and 0.0. So the new number will be, you can see after taking away the 2 is repeating infinitely many times, so the answer would be 0.492 dot. Okay, so the next question is you need to show that 0.074 dot can be written as a fraction. So we need to change this number into the fraction. So let's say x is 0.074 dot, means 4 is repeating again infinitely many times. So okay, let's times this equation by 10 on both sides. So you'll get 10x equals to your decimal point will move one digit to the right, so it will become 0.744444 and so on. So you can see we still have the different decimal parts, so we need to find the two pair of equations with the same decimal part. So okay, let's times this equation again by 10. So when you times this equation by 10 on both sides, so 10 times 10 is 100, so 100x equals to, your decimal part will move one digit to the right again, so it will become 7.444 and so on. So if you compare this equation with the previous one, so you can see both the decimal parts are not same yet. So still we need to times by 10 again to this equation. So when you times this by 10 again, so you'll get 1000x on this side, and your decimal will move one digit to the right again, so it will become 74.444 and so on. So if you compare the decimal part of these two equations, now you got the same decimal part in these two equations. So the next step would be we need to take away these two equations. So let's say this is equation number 1, this is equation number 2. We need to take away 1 and 2. So 1000 take away 100 is 900 x, and 74, you can see that you got the same decimal part in both equations. If you take away these two, so the decimal part will be eliminated and you're left with 74 take away 7, which is 67. So if you divide by 900 on both sides, you will get x equals to 67 over 900. All right, so we got one more question. In this question we need to prove that this decimal number, recurring decimal number, equals to this fraction. So let's say again x equals to, you got 1.01 dot 8 dot, so it is x equals to 1.0181818 is repeating infinitely many times. So if you times by again 10 on both sides, so 10x would be, your decimal part at a point will move one digit to the right, so it will become 0.181818 and so on. So if you compare the decimal part, you got 0.181818 and this is 1.81818. so the decimal part is not remain yet, so you need to times by 10 on both sides again. So when you times by 10, it will become 100x, and your decimal part point will move one digit to the right, so it will become 101.818181 and so on. But if you compare with the top one, with this equation, you got 1818 and it is 8181, so the decimal part is remain different. So let's times this equation by 10 again. So when you times this by 10, it will become 1000x equals to 1018.1818 and so on. Now if you compare these two equations, equation number 1, this one, and the question number 2. So you can see we got the same decimal part over here, 1818 and 1818. So we can take away these two equations to get rid from the decimal part. Okay, so if you take away uh, uh, 10x from 1000x, so you're left with 990x. And if we take away this 10.1818 from 1018.1818, so what we left with 1008. So if you divide by 990 on both sides now, so you're left with x equals to 1008 over 990. So you need to divide by the common divisor. You need to find the common divisor, and you need to simplify this fraction to get the required answer. So if you divide this by 2 up and down, okay, if you divide this equation by 2, so 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So if you divide this by 2, you'll get 504. And if you divide this by 2 again, so 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 9 is 18, so you'll get 295. So if you divide by 3 up and down again, you will get 168 or 165. And if you divide by 3, you will get the required answer. Thank you.